Marvel's long-awaited Werewolf by Night, which was promising to bring the monsters to us, has finally released on Disney+. So let's talk about all the crazy twists and turns that we get with a special night of hunting in the Marvel Universe. Marvel's Werewolf by Night is a one-shot special, which means it's longer than a standard episode of a Disney Plus series, but not quite as long as a full feature film. And I think for this specific project, it really worked. So what we see here is that the audio commentary will be out later today to all members on the Avenger tier. Yep, I had to do it. Now anyways, let's talk about the episode. So, the Bloodstone, which is something that's held by the Bloodstone family, is up for grabs, and the best hunter who is able to hunt the monster of the night will be able to take it. Now, what exactly the Bloodstone does, they tease a little bit in here, but they don't fully go into it. Obviously, they're going to explore some stuff down the road, and they want to leave that open-ended for when monsters show up and when more things happen with these characters. But what's important here is that at the center of the story is the Werewolf by Night, aka Jack Russell the Werewolf, and Elsa Bloodstone. Now obviously, since they're, going after the Bloodstone, you can see what her connection is to the whole thing. She is there just to get her hands on it, but again, she hasn't really lived this life like many of the other people there who literally just live to hunt monsters. And what's important here is the fact that she's going to, actually have to work with the werewolf. She's going to have to work with Jack, because Jack reveals he's not exactly here for why she thinks he is, or why anybody thinks he is. He's here because his goal is to save Man-Thing, who is a friend of his. And we learned that right about halfway into this episode, and Man-Thing actually ends up escaping pretty quickly. But Jack is caught, and then they decide to lock him and Elsa up in a cage, and they're hoping that he's just gonna devour her. Lucky for her, he got her scent, and he's a little bit more aware that she was kind of innocent in all of this, and he decides to dispose of everybody besides her. At the end, we get the return of Man-Thing, and the two of them more or less just leave, and Elsa ends up, how do I put this? She ends up winning, essentially. I mean, not really. She, didn't do the most amount of stuff. She doesn't do all the killing and anything like that, but she does end up, becoming the new Bloodstone, right? Now, in the comics, obviously, she is a Bloodstone. She's a monster hunter, and that's obviously going to be important as a member of the Midnight Suns and so forth. It kind of makes sense that she's going to be in a position like this where they're going to use her in the future. And what I really liked is that by the end of this special, you see her sit down, and as she sits down, she takes the Bloodstone, and the whole world turns to color. This, within itself, is important because it's the death of the old way representing the new. And it's honestly kind of awesome to see. Overall, a really great special, violent, bloody, unique. It's highly recommended.